The girl just lightly checked the pulse and accurately diagnosed the cause of the tycoon's illness, casually grabbing a handful of pebbles from the flower pot. With one hand lifted the wheelchair into the air, a light wave of her small hand. The wheelchair started spinning in midair. A few pebbles shot out. The tycoon was instantly enveloped in true energy. After landing, he spit out a mouthful of water. The tycoon, who had been in a coma for 30 years, actually opened his eyes. No one knew. In this small body resided the soul of the medicine ancestress grandmother. It turned out when the Holy Maiden was crossing tribulation, she encountered heavenly lightning, accidentally attached to the body of a terminally ill girl. Unfortunately, this body was already at the end of its rope. Even the Holy Maiden, whose medical skills reached the heavens, was powerless to save her daughter. The father took her back to the Qin family he hadn't returned to in years to get medical books. Old Master Qin, seeing the son who had left the family for many years, his face immediately darkened. Back then, this man had insisted on marrying a countrywoman and had long been kicked out of the family. Old Master publicly scolded him as the family's disgrace. That snobbish cousin was even worse, actually forcing him to kneel and lick grandpa's shoes. The father, desperate to save his daughter, really knelt down. Seeing her father humiliated, the girl stepped forward. Seeing the little girl dare to talk back to Old Master, the cousin sternly reprimanded her to kneel and apologize, but she said Old Master couldn't handle it, nearly angering the old man into fainting. At this time, the tycoon walked over full of energy, smugly saying the illness the Qin family couldn't cure was cured by a little girl with pebbles. Old Master, looking at the pebbles in his hand, determined this was definitely a medical expert. Just as he was about to send someone to find them, the little girl said they were as far as the sky but as close as your eyes. The Qin family members mocked. A little girl on the verge of death also dared to impersonate a medical sage. Then Old Master laid out the condition. If they wanted the medical books, they had to win the medical competition. This was exactly what the little girl wanted. She thought to herself, competing with me, the medicine ancestress, in medical skills. Aren't you just asking to be humiliated? On the day of the medical competition, they had to use silk threads to take pulses, diagnose 3 patients, and use the 7-star needle technique to treat them. The cousin pretentiously checked the pulses with silk threads, winning a round of applause. But when applying the needles, he made countless mistakes. Then the father took a risk and entered. Dad took a risk and entered for his daughter, accurately diagnosing the 3 patients: facial paralysis and stroke, breech pregnancy, and a critically ill patient. Just as he was about to pass, the eldest uncle got anxious, threatening if he inserted a needle wrong they'd break his hands. Old Master actually nodded in agreement. Even worse, the Qin family deliberately didn't lend silver needles. The girl was prepared early on, under the daughter's guidance. The first 2 patients saw results with 1 needle. The 3rd patient suddenly went berserk. The father took a risk and needled the Baighui acupoint. The crowd exclaimed this was a fatal acupoint. Just as it seemed someone would die, the daughter yelled to needle the Intang point. Critical moment. The father chose to believe his daughter. With 1 needle, the patient actually went from critical to stable. The cousin was still quibbling, saying they just got lucky. At this time, the Chamber of Commerce president suddenly arrived. Old Master couldn't go back on his word now. The second round of the competition was to select severely ill patients. No one expected. The little girl directly pointed at the chamber president and said she wanted to treat him. Everyone present thought she had gone crazy.